भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं च नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवति उत्तम श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto, fifth chapter. Viduras talks with Maitreya, text number 29 onwards. Mahatatvad Vikurvana Daham Tattvam Vijayata Kare Karan Kartritatma Bhutendriya Manomaya Vaikarika Stajascha Tamsashtetyaham Tridha. Mahatattva. Now, Maitreya Muni is explaining all these technical things. So, Mahatattva, yesterday we understood, it's the manifested material elements. Mahatattva, or the great causal truth, not the elements yet. I mean, it's a conglomeration of, it's everything is together in that element. It's manifested. When it is unmanifested, it's called pradhan. So Mahatattva, or the great causal truth, transforms into false ego. So this transformation happens by the influence of time, which is false ego, which is manifested in three phases: cause, effect, and the doer. So the doer, we know, Atma. Cause is a karma, and effect is a result of that karma. All such activities are on the mental plane and are based on the material elements, gross senses, and mental speculation. The false ego is represented in three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now, activity started with passion, and then because of ignorance, false ego is generated. Now, the false ego is again into three modes. So it's all getting even in ignorance, there are still the gradation: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Very, very technical. It's explained in so much of detail. Of course, Srimad Bhagavatam, just imagine here, Shukdev Goswami is speaking this to Parikshit Maharaj, that, oh, this conversation happened between Vidura and Maitreya. And he is quoting Vidura and Maitreya's conversation. But Shukdev and Parikshit Maharaj is also listening to all this with rapt attention, although he knows he's going to die. Now it's a third canto, so probably first day is gone. 6 more days are left. So he is still listening to all this with rapt attention. But even Srimad Bhagavatam doesn't go in that much detail about this creation. It goes in little detail, not in too much detail. Other scriptures, other Vedic texts go in much detail. So this is the beauty of Vedic texts. They go in so much of detail of everything, even the creation. It's not like, I'm not trying to put down Bible. It has the information that Jesus Christ thought it is necessary for the people in that area to assimilate. So basically it says, Bible says, oh, God created the whole world in 7 days. So he said, okay, let there be light. So there was light. Let there be water. There was water. But here in Bhagavatam, it is explained how from Mahat Tattva everything comes into existence. So this is so much of detail given here. So false ego is represented in three different modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. A pure living entity in his original spiritual existence is fully conscious of his constitutional position as an eternal servitor of the Lord. All souls who are situated in such pure consciousness are liberated, and therefore they eternally live in bliss and knowledge in the various Vaikuntha planets in the spiritual sky. When the material creation is manifested, it's not for them, because their false ego, they don't have a false ego, first of all. Their ego is pure ego. Their pure ego is, I'm a servant of Krishna. I'm a spirit soul, and our ego is I'm this body. Their ego is I'm a spirit soul, and I'm servant of Krishna. Our ego is I'm this body, and I'm the master of this body. I'm the enjoyer of this body and everything around me. I'm the controller of everything. And pure ego is I'm a spirit soul. I'm a servant of Krishna. Krishna is the controller, enjoyer, proprietor of everything. It is so simple. But this is only theoretical knowledge. Realization is not there. So I'm still in the material body mode of consciousness. The eternally liberated souls are called Nitya Muktas, and they have nothing to do with the material creation. The material creation is meant for rebellious souls who are not prepared to accept subordination under the Supreme Lord. So they are not prepared to accept the subordination, but they do work under the external energy of the Lord, which is called Maya. Maya makes them subordinate. That is why Maya personified is Durga Devi. And Durga Devi always carries this trident in her hand. And trident means Adidevik, Adibhotik, Adhyatmik Klesha. So with that trident, she is torturing each and every living entity, whether human being or animals or birds or anything, anybody else. Everybody is suffering these three miseries. And we think, oh, I am happy, I am independent, I am enjoying. Where is the enjoyment? Where is the happiness? I am the controller. Where, I mean, you can't even control your own eyelashes, your eyelids from blinking. We can't even control anything. How much control do we think we have? We have no control over our mind, no control over our physical body, no control over our emotions. And forget about controlling somebody else. We are not the enjoyers. Because if we were the enjoyers, then the pleasure should always remain. But it goes away. And we are not the proprietors because we have to leave everything. So who are we? We have to understand who are we. Nitya Mukta, so eternally liberated souls, they never forget who are they. And we as eternally conditioned souls, we have always forgotten. We never remember who we are actually. We have forgotten that completely. The spirit, this spirit of false lordship is called false ego. It is manifested in three modes of material nature, and it exists in mental speculation only. Those who are in the mode of goodness think that each and every person is God, and thus they laugh at the pure devotees who try to engage in the transcendental, loving service of the Lord. Those who are puffed up by the mode of passion try to lord it over material nature in various ways. Some of them engage in altruistic activities as if they are agents appointed to do good to others by their mental speculative plans. Such men accept the standard ways of mundane altruism, but their plans are made on the basis of false ego, that I am this body and everybody else is this body, their bodies, and we have to serve each other on the basis of their bodies. This false ego extends to the limit of becoming one with the Lord. And they, like Prabhupada, the purpose, he said, they have come up with this philosophy of Daridra Narayana. That this poor person, he is also Narayan, I'm also Narayan, I'm rich Narayan, and he's Daridra, he is poor Narayan. But we are both are Narayan and we have to help each other. Without understanding, Narayan cannot become Daridra. Narayan cannot become poor. There are thousands of Lakshmis serving Narayan all the time. The last class of egoistic conditioned souls, those in the mode of ignorance, are misguided by identification of the gross body with the self. So they all are misguided. Only people, only class of people who are properly situated are devotees of the Lord. Here we are trying, we are struggling to become devotees of the Lord. So it's like 23 hours and 59 minutes we are in false ego. Maybe 1 minute we get to understand our real position. So we are struggling. It's a sweet struggle, but it is a struggle nevertheless. Thus, all their activities are centered around the body only. All these persons are given the chance to play with false egoistic ideas, but at the same time, the Lord is kind enough to give them a chance to take help from scriptures like Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, so that they may understand the science of Krishna and thus make their lives successful. So we all are struggling with this false ego that I am this body, I am the controller, I am the proprietor, I am the enjoyer. Whether somebody is in mode of goodness, who thinks each and every person is God, or somebody is in mode of passion, who thinks some social work, or somebody is in the mode of ignorance, who thinks my whole philosophy is eat, drink, and be merry. But then that's why Krishna gives these scriptures. He comes himself, he sends his representatives to teach us, give up this nonsense, false ego. The entire material creation, therefore, is meant for falsely egoistic living entities, hovering on the mental plane under different illusions in the modes of material nature. So everybody is working on these platforms. Whether we say Hinduism is good and Islam is good, or Christianity is good, or Sikhism is good, or Americans are good, or Chinese are good, or Indians are best, whatever we say, everybody is basically working on the platform of this false ego. First false ego, I am this body. That's it. And that's where the whole thing starts. Text 30. Aham tatvad vikurvanam manovekarikadabhut vekarikascha ye deva arthabhivyanjanam yutaha. The false ego is transformed into mind. Now this false ego, now if we go into 8 separated energies, which Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, the material world is made of 8 separated energies: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. Now the creation happens from subtle to grosser elements. So false ego is more subtle, and then comes the mind, and then will come the rest of the grosser elements. So this is how the creation takes place. So false ego is transformed into mind by interaction with the mode of goodness. All the demigods who control the phenomenal world are also the products of the same principle, namely the interaction of false ego and the mode of goodness. False ego interacting with the different modes of material nature is the source of all materials in the phenomenal world. So once I had asked this question, that how does false ego interacts with mode of goodness and becomes mind? I'd asked this question to a big scholar from ISKCON, and even that was Gopi Parandhan Prabhu. Even Gopi Parandhan Prabhu said, I don't know how this interaction takes place. He said, all I have studied is this interaction, this is how they interact, and it becomes mind. So maybe in some other scriptures it is given, but Prabhupada never explained it. Text 31. Tejasanindriyani eva jnana karmayani cha. The senses are certainly products of the mode of passion in false ego. So in the mode of goodness, it created mind. It's a mode of passion that it interacts with the false ego. It creates the senses. And therefore, philosophical, speculative knowledge and fruitive activities are predominantly products of the mode of passion. The chief function of the false ego is godlessness. When a person forgets his constitutional position as an eternally subordinate part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and wants to be happy independently, he functions mainly in two ways. He first attempts to act fruitively or for personal gain or sense gratification. And after attempting such fruitive activities for a considerable time, when he is frustrated, he becomes a philosophical speculator and thinks himself to be on the same level as God. This false idea of becoming one with the Lord is a last snare of the illusory energy, which traps a living entity into the bondage of forgetfulness under the spell of false ego. So when a person forgets his constitutional position and wants to be happy independently, he functions mainly in two ways. First, attempt to act fruitively for personal gain and attempts fruitive activities. And then he wants to become one with the Lord. Means he wants to be. Once he gets frustrated in trying to enjoy fruitive activities of the material world or the fruits of his activities, then he wants to become one with the God because, oh, this is too frustrating. Frustrating, why? Because he's not getting the same pleasure. But on the other hand, when he sees Krishna, Krishna is always enjoying. Here, whatever I do, it has temporary benefit, but whatever Krishna has, it is permanent. So why not become God? I cannot become Krishna, but I can bring Krishna down to my level where saying that we honor God. So that's again false ego. The best means of liberation from the clutches of false ego is to give up the habit of philosophical speculation regarding the absolute truth. So this philosophical speculation, mental speculation, Prabhupada again and again says, this is all speculation that we are all God. We are going to become God. We are one with God. Krishna's position has been elaborately established by acharyas in even if you just read Bhagavatam. So first two cantos it has been established. Even in this canto, when Uddhavji was speaking with Vidura, established who is Krishna, who's God. And now people who like to speculate, oh, I am God. We are not God. We cannot be God. We can only be godly. We can only be spiritual. We are not God. We're never going to become God. We can become servant of God, or like Prabhupada said, a devotee, why he wants to become God? He wants to become father of God. He wants to become mother of God. Why he wants to become God? We can take that position of father of God and serve him, take care of him. One should know definitely that the absolute truth is never realized by the philosophical speculations of the imperfect, egoistic person. The absolute truth of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is realized by hearing about Him in all submission and love from a bona fide authority, who is a representative of the 12 great authorities mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. By such an attempt only one can conquer the illusory energy of the Lord, although for others she is unsurpassable, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. So the only way to get over this illusory energy and the last snare or last grip of Maya is to make us think that we are God. So all this Mayavadi concept, Brahm Satya Jagan Mithya, So Aham. So Aham means I am that. What is that? That is God. I don't know where they get this concept from. But this is all Maya. And this is the last grip of Maya, because if we come out of this grip, then we can come to our origin position of being servant of God. So I'm sorry, so we will stop here, because then other elements will start generating, from false ego. We'll study tomorrow because it's too much philosophy. I know I don't want to go into my detail, and sorry we lost some time figuring out how to log in. So anyway, this will be the new ID, and which is my old number of India. So I thought it's easy for us to remember. And now Zoom gave the facility to change the number, change the ID. That's why I changed that. So anyway, we'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments? I guess it got a little too technical. So you all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Ram.
Hare
Thank you very much. Krishna Prabhu.